This episode of Midco Sports Magazine is presented by Shields and Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine.
Hello, welcome again to Midco Sports Magazine. We've got stories from the Dakotas and around the region of people and places that you know of, but it's athletes and events that are a little off the regular radar. This month, a couple of stories of strength from struggle. We have a man from Madison, South Dakota. His muscles don't always work the way they're supposed to due to disease, but he has run over those roadblocks to be one of the best in America in his sport. And we'll go to Northeast South Dakota to meet a woman who has lived an extraordinary life. She's set world speed records and has not let what some call a disability slow her down. But we start in Manchester, Iowa, and a thing called a whitewater park, and some outdoor enthusiasts here in Sioux Falls who want to try to get one built along the Big Sioux River. Here's David Brown with that story.
It's ironic that on the calmest of days, the rage of the river can almost be serene. But this isn't whitewater heaven, it's Iowa.
We all liked our town, we all knew it was a good place. We wanted to take it a step up and make it a great place.
Manchester, Iowa is not a town big on numbers. Its population is a mere 5,100, and it's situated about 150 miles northeast of Des Moines. But the smallest number, 6, represents the number of drops in the city's new whitewater park that opened in June.
They're kind of coming up all over the country. There's some in Iowa and Minnesota. And it is kind of a man-made park where they put obstacles in the water to create the whitewater. And then you can do time races, or you can practice rolling and just have some fun and experience with the whitewater.
The first time the idea was brought up, there was a lot of questions and a lot of concerns, whether it was the liability or the safety, or even just who's going to go out there in the water, or what's it going to bring to town. And we had a number of public meetings. And I think through those public meetings, we provided enough information and educated enough people and answered enough questions that provided that support.
Remember how Manchester wasn't a town big on numbers? Well, there is one number that was nearly as jarring as these rapids. The price tag, nearly $2 million.
Third of that came through state grant monies. Third of it came through the city and the county. The city chipped in $600,000, Delaware County chipped in $50,000, and then the remaining third was raised by private donations.
Engineer Ryan Wicks believes despite the apparent gap between a 5,000 person town and a nearly multi-million-dollar project, part of the reason this park was built was due to the economic revenue it'll bring back to Manchester. Wicks says the project should pay for itself within 3 years.
We can become a destination for people throughout the Midwest, for people who are avid playboaters, but also just people who enjoy the river, a great fishing opportunity. So we thought this is something that is a little new still to the area, and that if we get going and jump on this idea, we can get out at the forefront.
Got a spot where you going?
Yeah, just straight over by that tree over there.
While the waves of change are already in motion in Manchester, a city with a population 30 times larger hopes to make an even bigger splash.
The more whitewater parks that come up in the area, the more the city is going to be like, hey, we need to get these people here, because those whitewater parks are making close to $1 million in economic income every year.
Mitchell Joldersma is the president of the Sioux Falls Whitewater Park nonprofit organization, and he hopes to turn the Big Sioux River into an even bigger playground.
Well, it's in the heart of Sioux Falls. It goes all the way around Sioux Falls. That's our biggest asset. Why not take advantage of it and use it?
Mitchell's been trying to raise both awareness and funding for the project for more than a year, and he's taking a strategic approach toward battling through the current of logistics and feasibility studies.
We have kind of 5 spots picked out, more ideal spots with a good elevation and everything. This is one of the spots where we're currently at, Farmfield Park off Western 57th. Our engineers also decided to look at right below Falls Park after the dam. We also have Rotary Park that they're going to look at, and Paisley Park that they're going to look at, and Lean Park.
At this point, however, there are far more rapids ahead for the group. In addition to figuring out the best place to put the whitewater park, the project also needs approval from the city, along with purchasing various permits from the Game Fish and Parks Department, the Department of Natural Resources, and FEMA. In other words, a Sioux Falls whitewater park is currently at the source of the river, just beginning the flow.
I just like the thrill. You go through it, you hit a hole, all of a sudden you get bombarded with just a big splash of water or a huge wave hitting you, and you're like kind of seeing, oh, where am I now? And it's just a big sense of like, I don't know, it just gets your adrenaline going, and it's really exciting, I think.
If you live here in town, it's a good opportunity. You don't have to drive very far. You come down, unload right at the number of kayak put-in points. It's easy.
The whitewater will always rage. To those who are experienced, it's a calming sensation. But for those who are heading down the river, it can be a bumpy ride. Manchester, Iowa has made it through the rough. But if Sioux Falls hopes to follow the same path, they'll need to steady the boat.
I think it can happen in any size community. I do think it takes an effort to focus on improving your river. It takes an effort where people want to do that, and it does take some education.
Joined by David Brown now, and this would be very cool. So give us an update on where the Sioux Falls project is at right now.
Well, the Sioux Falls Whitewater Park Organization, the nonprofit that you saw in the piece, they just raised enough money to conduct a feasibility study, and they're looking at 5 locations, including right here at the corner of 26th and Southeastern at Rotary Park, and the results of that study are going to be known in a couple of weeks.
All right, Manchester built theirs for about $1.8 million. What would it cost to build one in Sioux Falls?
Mitchell Joldersma, who you saw in the piece, Tom, he believes it's only going to cost $500,000.
And of course, he would like a little bit of help from the city of Sioux Falls, but they still got to look at things. He's got to get money for permits from different organizations, so it remains to be seen if this project can go forward, but it's still moving ahead.
All right. David Brown, thanks. Well, when we come back, cerebral palsy could have put an end to his running days, but Austin Handley has taken it all in stride to be one of the nation's best.
Midco Sports Magazine on Midco Sports Network is presented by Shields and Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine.
Our thanks to Kitty O'Neill, to Austin Handley, and everyone involved with the Whitewater Project in Manchester and in Sioux Falls. Thanks for watching Midco Sports Magazine.
This has been Midco Sports Magazine, presented by Shields and Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine.